What is up? This is your buddy alertwolf to bring you another review. This time I'm doing it on Ash vs. Evil Dead, Episode 4, Brujo. Yeah, that's right, folks. I'm Spanish, in case you didn't realize that one. But anyway, alright, so this one, we go to meet Pablo's uncle. We actually this one jumps right where the cliffhanger. Let me back up a little bit. That was horrible noises. I'm sorry. But basically, as I said at my last video, the cliffhanger would come with Xena Lucy Lawless, or whatever her current name is, saving the day. And she does. Well, our cop friend, she fights back even though she's handcuffed. She starts shooting, and then Lucy Lawless comes in and kicks some ass. Right now, the funny thing is, we start to hear some, but not all, of her backstory. The some part is, now we're getting into Evil Dead 2. She, which is kind of funny, she represents the family members of the people from 2. Remember, if you remember Evil Dead 1, they go to this cabin in the woods with their friends, and they run into recording of a book, and of a guy translating a book. The professor is translating the book and unleashes the evil, and then, because it was being played while they were listening to it, it unleashes it again, apparently. And crap goes wrong. And this is the day before. The following day, because apparently the professor, the archaeologist, him and his wife were in the cabin earlier that week. Or possibly 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's just been a while since they heard from him. So then, the first movie happens the first day of the weekend. The second movie is the second day on that weekend, because what happens is the daughter and her boyfriend or brother, I never understood that one, they go in to investigate along with a hillbilly and his girl, and who leads them to the cabin because the bridge has been washed out. And the events of the second picture happen, which includes Ash's hand being cut off and chainsaw hand and all of that. Now, the funny thing about this is the first time we've now confirmed how she got the knife that was in the cabin. She got the knife in the cabin because she is supposedly the younger, I'm guessing, sister of the family that went up there. Now, she blames Ash for everything, thinking he's some sort of evil mastermind. We also learned that she has Ash's original evil hand, which Ash cut off, and that makes sense because if you remember, he had stabbed it with the knife at some point. So all that kind of goes together. Very, very important story points out of the Lucy Lawless character this episode. Now, as she fights the demons, one thing he's like, I know, we know you, you are, and she chops his head off, cutting him off, and then he goes to speak again, and she kind of steps on his mouth. But the two chicks are now going to team up to stop Ash and company. Speaking of Ash and company, so glad that what I noticed at the end of the last episode being that although she exorcised the body of the demon and the book seemingly ate it, the shadow, meaning the spirit, did go inside of her, all that the dark cloud. Now Kelly is now fighting through something as they get to the uncle's house. Now there is a wicked change scene with the evil force. This is the first time, I might add, that we ever see what people are seeing with the evil force, which is a big dust cloud chasing them. It is the first time that has ever been revealed. Pretty epic. They go to meet the Brujo and the uncle, and he's basically like, this guy, you're back for this guy. And that what bothers me a little bit is, clearly he had put up wards to protect the house against evil. Clearly she is reacting to those wards, and he's just like, oh, she's unwell. she's freaking being possessed, and anybody can see it. It surprises me that the uncle doesn't get what's going on with her, because it is, and it surprises me Ash doesn't get what's going on with her, because how many times has Ash been possessed? So that stuff kind of bothers me. But Ash is Ash, so he's all about himself. And he goes on a spiritual journey with the uncle. He takes some mescaline and starts tripping out, and weed in his face and all that. And the dream sequences are pretty funny out of that. Meanwhile, the possession fully takes over, and it is the demon that Ash obviously brought from the last episode has taken over Kelly. And she's trying to manipulate things. And remember, she's the mind demon, right? The one that attacks the minds. So she enters, or the demon enters Ash's dream world. And it's funny, he's getting his ass kicked in the dream world, and his pet lizard's like, dude, you forgot this was your dream world? He's like, yeah, you're right. And he starts fighting back. And he's like, I'm gonna choke you, bitch. And he starts choking the demon entering his dream, but in reality, he's choking Kelly. And the episode ends basically with Pablo knocking Ash out, who was already knocked out. It's kind of weird. And, Kelly's still possessed. Now, they hinted that there were signs of in the next episode that'd be you're trying to remove the demon. But they also hinted that they think maybe Ash is the one possessed. So we'll see where that goes, if they can free Kelly. And that's a pretty good cliffhanger. But we also got from his spirit guide that he has to go back to the cabin and bury the book in the cabin somehow. That's supposed to do things. Supposed to fix things. So we'll see where that happens. But now we have a direction for the thing. We got so much story. I'm giving this episode a 5 out of 5. And mainly, it didn't have too much gore and violence like the previous episodes. But except for in the beginning. But what it did have was chock full of story. And, almost forgot, Pablo is building a robot hand for Ash. Now Ash is gonna get the robot hand. Now here's the freaking question. When Ash gets a robotic limb, is he gonna be like very similar to the one I made for myself that time I time traveled? Or is he acting like he's never had a robot limb? Woo! There's your mind blown, folks. Does Army of Darkness count? We are waiting to see if Army of Darkness counts. And, but I will say this. Pablo did I think he pulled that out of Ash's stuff. So maybe Ash had the stuff to make a robot hand because he had the joints he was putting together. And maybe is Pablo just upgrading what was left out of Ash's robot hand? Because he said, I'm going to make Ash a new hand. So I don't know. A lot of questions about to be answered on the robot hand front. So we will see what happens with that, man. It is. Because that's the one thing, right? They're showing you different scenes and different stuff, and so far we can confirm Evil Dead 1 and 2 counts, or maybe just 2, not so much 1. But does Evil Dead... Nah, right. But does the Evil Dead or 3, which is Army of Darkness, count? Does Army of Darkness count? All right, and that's it. So again, I rated it pretty well. I think 5 out of 5, I said. Just because of everything they just did to us in this episode. So good. Well enjoyed. And it's hilarious going inside the mind of Ash Williams. But, alright, that's enough out of me. So, click it up if you like it. Comment if you must, and subscribe if you can. And please, please, please share the video with your buddies. Share the love. Alright, this is your buddy Alert Wolf. Oh, and this just did. Alert Wolf is now partnered with Freedom! Alright, I'm out.